This is Don't Panic, episode number 316, recorded August 2nd, 2021. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and me. No, wait, that's not right. It's on you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by two guys who they're guys. It's Colby Rabideau and Dan Miller.
What's up?
That's right, Sean. That's right.
What's cracking? What's the good word?
I don't know. I feel weird. I feel at a crossroads with all the
Dramatic.
Yeah, all the COVID stuff. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah.
On the one hand,
Uncertain.
I now live in the suburbs, so not really. Kind of. I live in the semi-suburbs, so does it even matter?
You live in
I don't do anything anyways.
City in Connecticut.
I live in the allegedly the second largest city in Connecticut.
I was going to say, that's like the Louisville of Connecticut you live in. It's not good, but you're not, you guys aren't working in an office, right? How often are you obviously, do you still get groceries? How often are you actually in an indoor, quote unquote, crowded space?
We get groceries. That's probably our biggest luxury. As funny as it is to say that right now. We've gone into the city like every other weekend recently. And to do that, you have to take a train. But otherwise, I guess not. But it's also the summer. So our fun activity involves hiking right now, which, typically in the winter time it wouldn't. So that's what I'm thinking about staring down the barrel of. But I guess I don't have to worry about it right now.
That's true.
Gotcha.
But yeah, groceries. It's nice to go to the grocery store. When you live in the suburbs, there's nothing else to do. So you go in the grocery store, at least for me at the moment, it's still kind of let's go to the grocery store. Who knows anything could happen.
It's true.
There could be some ice cream on sale.
Steaks, right?
You get some steaks. Sometimes you get those crazy meat discounts, and then suddenly your freezer's just filled with meats.
Right. Meat freezer. It's the dream. I do like being able to go to the grocery store because getting groceries delivered seems like it would be convenient, but in reality, it's like one of those things where, yes, they bring it to you, but also, you get your 2-hour time window or whatever, and so there's 2 hours where you can't do anything.
Yes. Yeah, I found it was, if I lived in New York, again, I don't know, there's probably grocery delivery here. But then the other nice thing about New York is that there's kind of delivery for everything. So you really could, right? You can't get specialty ingredients delivered from Instacart or whatever. But there are some things that I would totally do it for. Some things I would not, namely fruits and vegetables. It's going to be a real crapshoot. Even with the Whole Foods delivery thing, and then you've paid Whole Food prices for a shitty carrot. Man, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't return the carrot at that point. Maybe you could if you went to a store.
So you can actually return stuff on the Amazon app, and they basically just give you your money back with no questions asked, and you don't have to do anything. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was also my reaction to learning this.
What if you returned
a shitty carrot? I think, or a really disgusting onion. I think that was the one, but it was really gross.
That's good to know, actually, because
I don't know how you get to that part of the app. Someone else did it for me.
Did they make it hard to find?
Yeah.
We got a watermelon the other week, and watermelons. Well, we get watermelons a lot because Lena loves watermelons. Watermelons are one of those things you can tell. I've never picked out a bad onion. Right, it's one of those things you can tell if it's a little bit too squishy, if it looks weird. on the outside, that's a bad onion. If it looks like a normal onion and it's kind of firm, it's going to be fine. Watermelons seem like not a total crapshoot in that most of them are good. But we picked one out the other week. From all appearances, it looked exactly and felt exactly like every other watermelon, and it was disgusting. It was like eating melony liquefied sock. It was just gross. It was like thick. It was chewy. Ugh. And there seems like nothing you could do about it. So in that situation, I would love to have been able to, turn around to Jeff Bezos or Andy Jassy and be like, "Give me my $4.50 back. This is a sock watermelon."
Well, I listen, you guys are big city folks up here in the country where we got farms and real vegetables. I love this time of year because I can go to my local farm store and get stuff that was growing a couple miles up the road. The downside is 8 times out of 10, it's the best food you've ever eaten. And the other 2 times it is disgusting and inedible because there's no quality control check. Like there isn't a massive farm somewhere in, out of the country. And there is some pretty shockingly bad stuff I've gotten where it's mixed in, where you'd be like, "Oh, these 2 zucchinis are great." And then you get to the third one and you're like, "What happened?" Oh no. So it's always fun to pick around in the store and be a little bit of a discerning customer.
I think this might be a New York problem too, but we've been going to a lot more farmers markets. Even when we were in Washington, we were doing this because you have a car, so it makes transporting things a lot easier. And there is no Amazon Prime now for farmers markets, unless there is. Colby, do you know of this? Does this exist? I guess there's that thing you picked the other month, the CSA. I guess that's kind of like
sort of, yeah.
Amazon
not
Prime.
Actually affiliated with Amazon,
but anyways, if you want to get like 2 weeks worth of vegetables from a farmer's market in New York, you're going to have to travel a long ways unless you happen to live near one, because there's not enough space for that many farmers markets.
Right.
They're probably in one of the big parks, and then you have to carry it all back, or maybe get one of those little old lady trolleys. Which honestly, if I were to continue to live in New York and it wasn't COVID, I would get one of those old lady trolleys.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god. The only way to do it.
Oh my god, you just gave me a pick. Thank you.
I mean, you don't want to spoil it. I think I know where it's going. Now, do you guys go to a lot of farmers markets? Is that a semi-common occurrence?
We go every week now.
Because I don't get to go as much as I used to. But I what I loved about the farmers markets is, there's the vegetables, and but I love crazy stuff at the farmers market. Like stuff that's like, who are you and who allowed you to show up here? Including the time in Texas where there was a guy in a tent with a white table, no sign, just a blank table and a Coleman cooler. And he was selling unlabeled meats out of his Coleman cooler. And you just went up to him and I overheard, I did not buy any of these meats. Let me make that clear. But you would just go up to him and he'd be like, "Yeah, I think I got like some ribs or something." I had no idea where they came from. Clearly not kept to temperature. And you would just give him cash and he would give you like saran wrapped meats out of his Coleman cooler. It was upsetting.
That's a good.
And I was going to ask if you guys had seen anything strange or unusual at a farmer's market.
I feel like I've seen that guy. Not that exact guy, but the guy who has like one nylon sign, a folding table, a chair, and then a Coleman cooler filled with meat. I feel like that's a farmer's market archetype. He's probably being outsold by the guy with the freezer truck, on the other side of the farmer's market, who's pulling the meats out of the chest freezers in there.
Right.
But he's still there. We have found some weird vegetables. Was it purple peppers? They were just like, normal, peppers you might put in a stir fry, but they're purple. Tasted exactly the same. Those are cool.
It's shocking how many vegetables come in purple. Like almost all of them you can get in purple now, and I don't know how they did that.
Oh, is that like a genetic engineering thing?
I have no idea, because all of a sudden there were purple potatoes and there were purple carrots.
That's
and purple
true.
Peppers.
The purple potatoes are fun.
They're half eggplant.
Yeah, maybe they spliced it with an eggplant.
I think I saw a white eggplant actually at the farmer's market last week or something. Yeah.
Ooh, exotic.
Is this our new podcast, This Week in Vegetables?
I love it. Yes, absolutely. No,
And
although you did make me...
we've become Don't Panic. It's organic.
Oh no, guys, we got to get out of here. They're going to come after us. I let them have the trademark, but only in the fruits and vegetables space. So we got to move along. I was going to tell you guys, stop me if I've talked about this on the show. You reminded me, Dan, with your freezer truck. There's this thing around here. It happens every summer. And there are these guys in a big freezer truck who go mall to mall selling meats out of the freezer truck. And they run, the only way you hear about them is you drive by or you hear their radio ads. And every year it's the exact same radio ad. 20 ribeyes for $35. 20 ribeyes for $35. That's right. We've got 20 ribeyes for $35. We've also got king crab legs, pork chops, steaks. You name it, we got it. 20 ribeyes for $35. And that's their whole gimmick is 20 ribeyes for $35. And I'm like, that's really suspicious. And also a lot of steak.
Yes, but also apparently a great ad.
Oh, it's very catchy. Come see us this week at the parking lot at the Eastfield Mall. And they do. They just stand with a big sign that says 20 ribeyes for $35. By the way, a couple of years ago, it was for $30. So that's inflation. But,
that seems like
I've never been man enough to try. They always have a line. They always have a line when I drive by the mall. And they're in the parking lot.
Ribeyes aren't cheap usually. That's like a 2 ribeye price, $35.
Look, I think they're losing money on this thing.
Probably.
I don't get how it works.
Right.
So Colby, I know Sean will say no to this, so that's why I'm addressing it to Colby. Colby, did you ever go to a super fancy, gimmicky rice pudding place in New York called Rice to Riches?
No. I wish I had, though.
So the other week maybe, someone on Twitter was like, how have all these great New York restaurants closed and Rice to Riches is still open? Like, I never see anybody in there and the pudding is so expensive. Is it? And then someone responded and said, well, clearly it's a front for the mafia, like the classic joke you make. And then someone else responded and said, it was a front for the mafia. In like 2005, the guy who started a Rice to Riches was indicted and is currently in prison for money laundering via the Rice to Riches franchise locations across Manhattan. But somehow Rice to Riches just totally came out of that and survived. It is apparently still surviving, but maybe it was like a double layer money laundering scheme, and they like a honeypot. They like caught the feds with the easy to find money laundering, and the real one was hiding underneath.
It looks like. Am I crazy? I think it looks really good.
It looks really good.
I'm on the website right now.
It looks good. It's just like a lot of money, and I would happily go back, again, and I've been several times. It's not something I would be like, oh my God, like if I'm in New York, I have to go to Rice to Riches. Although there seem to be lots of people who think that. But I don't know. It's one of those things, like a lot of these gimmicky things have kind of fallen by the wayside. Remember in like the mid to late 2000s, there were all of those mac and cheese chains. There's Smack, and then there was another one. And a lot of those like one-trick pony stores have kind of died. But Rice to Riches, they only have rice pudding, and they're still kicking. Even Cold Stone kind of, fell off. Krispy Kreme.
Well, it's really funny that you mentioned that, because they literally, I'm trying to find the article, they literally just put out the fastest growing fast casual, restaurant chains in general for this year. And the number one chain will surprise you. But let me see if I can find the article.
That's a really good bait click YouTube headline.
Really good tease for you.
You won't believe.
It was, I think it was was it National Restaurant Magazine?
Wait, Rice to Riches has nationwide shipping powered by Gold Belly?
Oh, are you familiar with Gold Belly?
No.
Oh, Gold Belly's cool. I've always wanted to try it and never have. But Gold Belly's gimmick is that it's nationwide shipping, but it's for famous restaurants. And so if you want like that famous deep dish pizza place in Chicago, you can pay an obscene amount of money and they will ship you their famous pizza or whatever. And they have meal kits and they have frozen stuff they'll send you, but it's all like, I want the famous Chicago hot dog, and so they'll mail you one. That's their whole. It's just based on
Do they freeze
restaurants mailing you. Yeah, so you can get the Guy Fieri, his Flavortown restaurant. You can get his barbecue brisket trash can nachos, feeds 4 to 6 for $79 and free shipping. Instruction storage. It does ship with ice packs, and you have to keep it refrigerated. And then to serve, you kind of just heat and add all the ingredients together.
So do they work with these restaurants? So is this like a Gold Belly optimized like recipe that they pre-make in the restaurant, or is it like Postmates? So they show up at the restaurant, they order the garbage nachos to go, and then they put them in a freeze pack and ship them off to you?
I think it's more the latter. I think the idea is that like you're getting the same thing as if you walked in and got that
Wow.
like, do you know Joe's Pizza in New York?
No.
They say it's New York's most legendary slice.
There's lots of places that say that.
That's fair. I know the really famous Chicago deep dish place was on here. But yeah, a whole bunch of these, and that, you know, but it's like one pizza is like $80 once you factor in like the prices are ludicrous. But if you really want it,
these things come in like, Dan, I'm looking through here, and Eventide Oyster Company is on here. You get a 6-pack of Eventide lobster rolls for $139.
That's not that much more than they.
That's what I was gonna say. 6 of those is like $120.
I was gonna say it's only a $20 premium.
But what's neat is they now have meal kits where they actually send you the ingredients to make like the restaurant's meal, which is kind of like, that's kind of cool actually. The only thing is I've never heard of any of these restaurants, but
Gold Belly, because your belly's got to be made of gold in order to afford it.
It's not
only the best. I really want to do this. We should have a Gold Belly challenge.
Gold Belly challenge.
I'm not opposed, man. This stuff's really cool. I just wouldn't know what to pick. That's my problem.
Oh, we'll take care of that for you, Sean.
Oh,
how about that?
Yeah, we order for each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Wow. Oh man, you can select by region. Amazing.
Riveting radio here, folks.
So we just scroll through pictures of food. So good. Oh, they'll send you Junior's cheesecake. I love Junior's.
Wow.
But I think you could already get that.
Momofuku Sam dinner. That's a very famous thing. And if you want to go and get it at the restaurant, you have to order for the whole table. You'll get the meal kit, serves 4 to 6 for $169. That's pretty good.
I mean, Pat's famous Philly cheesesteak, they'll send you 4 cheesesteaks for $80. Which isn't like with
wait a
shipping,
second.
It's not insane.
You can get a Gold Belly subscription. Maybe that's what we should do.
What does that entitle you to?
Oh, they have like a monthly barbecue subscription. What do you get? Each box sent will serve 4+ people. Oh, so they just send you a box each month. It's like $90 to $100 a month, but
it's
still.
It's the Gold Belly I'm feeling lucky button.
Oh, that's crazy. That would be a really fun gift. If anyone's looking for a gift for me, you can give me 12 months of Gold Belly for $780. I would be very happy. Anyway, what I won't belabor it, but the fastest growing food franchise in America is Crumble Cookies. Have you been to a Crumble
Never
Cookies?
even heard of a Crumble Cookies.
I know someone who went there. It's supposedly amazing. But they are the fastest growing in America.
Crumble Cookies.
Yeah, it's spelled like a startup. It's missing some vowels. BL.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Just one. Just missing one vowel. That's pretty restrained.
Crumble.
Oops.
Yeah. So
Crumble cookies.
There you go.
No locations in New York City that's supposed to be the fastest growing. Come on.
Dubious.
What? Colby would have to travel all the way to wherever the hell this is, Nashua, New Hampshire.
Well, let's see how many of these others top 10s you know.
Oh.
I don't want to talk about tech news. Let's keep doing this. This is
This
fun.
Week in Food.
This Week in Food. 10 fastest growing chain restaurants in America. Literally just put out like this week. Number 10, Sonic Drive-In.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
Up 21% year-over-year increase. Black Rock Coffee Bar.
That sounds
Now, this is-
familiar.
65 locations around the Northwest, but they're expanding nationwide.
Maybe that's why I heard of it. Yeah. I don't think I ever
And
went.
they own br.coffee, which is a really... I like that.
br.coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
their...
so they've got locations in Arizona, Texas, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon. Number 8, Marco's Pizza, which has been around for a long time. They're not new.
Oh my
Romeo's Pizza is number 7.
Wait. Quick, going back to BR Coffee. I went to the locations page and I was like, okay, Oregon. There's a lot in Oregon. Washington's like, oh, I must have seen one in Washington. That's how I must have known. And I was like, okay, Vancouver, Washington. Didn't go there. Vancouver, Washington. They have 12 locations and they're all in Vancouver. Oh, no, sorry. Only one of them is not in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
Weird.
So they're the fastest growing in Vancouver, Washington.
Right, which is a very confusing place to be because it is relatively close to Vancouver, Canada, but not.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatively close, but it's actually as far away from you as you can be from Vancouver, Canada, and still be in Washington.
That's confusing.
Yes, it's very confusing. Hey, here's another confusing one I saw the other day. We are just all over the place. I saw an ad for a Super Smash Bros. Tournament, actually, in Ontario, CA. Where would you think that is?
Ontario, California.
Yeah, but isn't it weird that there's also in Ontario, Canada? I guess it's not a city, is a distinction, but it's abbreviated the same way. Anyways, I was thrown off. I thought for sure, I was like, wow, there's palm trees on the ad for a thing in Canada, I guess.
They're just doing it to mess with you, Dan.
Anyways, sorry, I'll cut you off after 9. What were 8 and 7?
Oh, Marco's Pizza and Romeo's Pizza were 8 and 7.
Never heard of them.
Neither have I. How about Share Tea? Mostly out west, 300 locations worldwide, focusing on boba, milk tea, fruit beverages. How about number 5, the Pulp Juice and Smoothie Bar?
No.
No. Okay. How about Sam's Southern Eatery?
Nope.
50 locations in 9 states.
Sam's Southern Eatery.
Yeah.
Nope. Don't know that one.
All right. How about the Chicken Salad Chick?
Nope, not that either.
Now you're laughing, but they have 200 locations and brought in $175 million in sales last year.
I give that a D+ for creativity in the name wise.
Chicken Salad Chick. I want to see the menu. If they do exclusively sell chicken salad, that's insanity.
I mean, chicken salad does leave you a lot of. You can put salad in almost any. You can put chicken in almost any salad. So
they have pimento cheeses, but they do have
oh my
sandwiches.
God,
You
I
can
think
get
it's
it on a
only
sandwich.
chicken salad.
Yeah, you can get a chicken salad BLT.
Oh, pimento.
Looks
now,
good. Good looking
did you say
sandwich.
this was fast casual or is it just
chain restaurants?
Okay.
We already know number 1 is Crumble. Number 2, they actually just opened one in my city, Wahlburgers.
Never heard of that.
So bad.
Like Marky
Is
Mark?
it?
It's terrible.
Yes.
It's not.
Yes,
it's
this
not
is
terrible. It's super mediocre. It's the most
Okay.
mediocre burger you've ever had in your entire life.
I just 45 domestic locations plus some worldwide. They did just open one here in Springfield, Massachusetts. I'm going to try it because I'm from Massachusetts and I'm like legally obligated to.
I think 20 of those 40 locations are in airports.
That's true. Or like stadiums, I know they do a lot of that.
Yeah, there was one of those in the Minneapolis St. Paul airport. There was a Wahlburgers.
Guy Fieri is the same way. All of his restaurants are in like stadiums and airports, and
Yeah,
no
and,
one
like,
would go out of their way to go to any of them.
Yes, and
but
like,
when you're in an airport surrounded by mediocrity, you're like, that's the best of the mediocre places.
Right, it's better
it's gonna be
than
awesome.
Deli Express.
Chili's too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope.
To be fair, I haven't gone to a Wahlburgers in like 5 years, but like I went the one time. I was like,
Is it a Massachusetts thing?
well, it's Mark Wahlberg. It's a Massachusetts thing. He's a
his
he's
family,
a Boston
the family's
boy.
from Boston. He's a Boston guy. Yeah.
And he is actually involved in this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
It's him and two of his brothers, one of whom is the chef, and the other, I don't know what he does.
The other Wahlberg.
Yes. It's not, is it Donnie? Or is it the other one? Because Donnie was the other famous one.
Maybe I should go back again. If we ever have a Don't Panic our coffee and beer network event in Boston again, we'll go to Wahlburgers one time.
We'll go to Wahlberg. Okay.
There's a Wahlburgers
The
like
finest
6
Boston has
minutes
to
from my
offer.
house. We could walk. I could walk there before the end of the show.
That's awesome.
Is it?
I can get, I was tempted the other day, I can get DoorDash Wahlburgers to my house, but I'm like, what's even worse than a Wahlburger? A delivered Wahlburger. So I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Wahlburgers. That's insane. What number was that?
That was 2. It's the second fastest growing
Oh my god.
by sales. Yeah.
That's
But that's got to be a delivery thing in COVID as well. Because I would bet a lot of the burger restaurants. No, because that's a really like straightforward delivery food. I would think.
I saw someone say that the other day, and I was surprised because in my experience, burgers do not travel well. Like the grease
I
seeps
agree.
out into the bread.
I agree.
It's cold.
But I think people are stupid.
Okay.
I mean, I've
we know
gotten,
that's true.
I think no, because I've read that like the McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger Kings of the world have been doing really well. So,
Well, I guess there's a difference between drive-through and delivery. I would totally get it. A
Well, but-
drive-through burger is great because it's self-contained and easily eaten.
no, but they're seeing record delivery
That's
numbers.
crazy.
Seriously. I've had Burger King delivered before. I shouldn't admit that publicly. But I had. And it was a fine experience. And the food was fine.
Well, I think, McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's, those places, I think they've done some shit to that food to make it travel a little
That's
bit
true.
better than
they're delivery they're like food packaging experts.
right. And I've never been to a Wahlburger, so I don't know. But like, I wouldn't want a Shake Shack 10 minutes, a 10-minute old Shake Shack.
Yeah,
even that would be
definitely
bad. Never
not.
mind 15 minutes old. Ugh.
Yeah.
Agreed. What is the optimal delivery food? Pizza, probably?
Like Indian food?
Yeah, I was gonna say pizza, kind of, but you can end up with like kind of a fucked up pizza where it got like it's not easily transported per se. You have to keep that pretty flat, otherwise the sauce like droops around.
Sushi?
Sushi,
Yeah.
sushi
Or
is like
even like a Chinese sort of.
yeah. I think the stuff that comes in the containers
Yeah.
is the most delicious when consumed, and among the easiest to deliver for the delivery driver.
This is true.
Totally. Do you guys have a place you're embarrassed you ordered delivery from
No, I have impeccable
that you wouldn't tell people, like a late night slice of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory or something? I mean, something embarrassing.
I feel like that's the beauty of New York City. Even the shittiest food is still pretty good.
That's all right. Stop
I know, but
bragging.
I just
Come on,
haven't-
Jeez.
I don't live there anymore. I have.
You gotta go to Applebee's like the rest of us.
I mean, we haven't really ordered anything in Stanford. Maybe we'll get there at some point.
Laura really likes Papa John's. We got Papa John's once recently.
Lena is obsessed with Popeyes. I guess that is a thing. We've never gotten delivery
Oh,
Popeyes, though.
Popeyes is good though. I've had IHOP delivered.
Ooh.
And you know what the fun thing about IHOP is? They have this like insane, you want to talk about food packaging, but they have like this multi-level like all plastic containers where it's like the pancakes and then underneath it is like
what?
And it's and it honestly it does a really good job of transporting your food. Now it's IHOP food, so it's not good, but it does keep it like separated and warm. It is so much plastic. I was like ashamed at like the 2 seconds it took to get to my house, and then just like a mountain of plastic like you've never seen. Absolutely crazy.
Now, I think you're onto something, Sean, because back in the before times when we would host people, especially larger groups of people, like thinking New Year's Eve party the next day. No one wants to be cooking breakfast the next day. You did,
Yes.
and it was amazing. But if you could just order...
And too much work.
Yeah, exactly. If you could just order IHOP, like place your order at 7 a.m. or whatever, and then go back to sleep, and if they have some super long wait, then it just shows up at your door, and it's pancakes. Oh, that's a good idea.
I for sure, the next party I throw, unless it's summer and I don't mind grilling, if it's not during the summer, I'm getting it catered. And even if it's just like, Chili's catering or something, like to just bring in a bunch of food, so much smarter.
It's got to be Applebee's, though.
It's got Applebee's catering. I've had my wedding catered by Applebee's. All right.
No, there you go. That's how you save money on a wedding right there.
Gross.
I bet it's
Absolutely
expensive.
Gross.
Applebee's. What do we used to
For
eat
shame.
there? We used to
How we're alive, I
sticks.
don't know.
Oh, and those like buffalo chicken tender chicken globs.
It's so much spinach and artichoke dip.
Buffalo chicken tender, chicken buffalo globs.
There was a reason they were half price.
Yeah.
They made some good money off of us.
And then remember, you could get the 2 beers or the 1 big
The
beer
2-for-1
that was
Blue
bigger
Moons.
than the 2 small beers.
Yep. Yeah, and the most bullshit glasses were like this much at the bottom was
Right,
glass.
half of it was the bottom.
Damn, they were frosty.
It's so frosty. What a place.
Oh, guys, we're so old. We're the good old days back when Applebee's used to be a place people went. There's a great video. I'll send it to you guys afterwards. One of my favorites on is Marshawn Lynch, the famous football player. He started in Buffalo. That's where he was drafted. Later traded to the Seahawks, where he won a Super Bowl. And there's ESPN did like a profile of him in Buffalo when he was a rookie. And the whole thing is Marshawn Lynch is like loves Applebee's. And he's like a rich football player, but he goes to Applebee's and he just has these he's a very funny guy, but he's like, I don't know which I love more. Or no, he goes, I love the ambiance. I also love the decor. I'm not sure which I love more, the ambiance or the decor. It's like he just genuinely loves Applebee's. It's a very
How have they not
clip.
scored him as a sponsor or whatever, a spokesperson?
I don't think Applebee's has Marshawn Lynch money, frankly. But
It
would
saying
be
is
great.
they might just be able to pay him in food.
He literally is like standing behind the bar. They let me use the soda gun. So much power. And he goes, and he fills his drink with the soda gun. It's great. It's very funny. And it's like, I love this guy.
He is funny.
Very fun. Oh, all right. I think we're legally obligated to talk about tech news.
Remember, real quick, every time I think about the Super Bowl, basically, I think about 2 things.
Okay.
Maybe 3 things. Maybe the wardrobe malfunction, but then shortly thereafter, the Oreo tweet when the power went out.
Yeah.
And then I think about when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. I think it was only one time recently. And then afterwards, they went up to that guy and they interviewed him like immediately afterwards, like 45 seconds after the game was called. And he's just like,
Richard Sherman.
yes. And he's like, oh, you fucking Crabtree.
You try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, this is what you're going to get. and then Aaron Andrews, they got to stop talking about me. Who's talking about you? They all talking about me. That was... Yeah. That was an iconic...
As someone who didn't know anything about football at all, I had no idea what was happening, and it was great. Anyways.
Yeah, those guys had a huge beef for years, those 2 guys.
When I think about Marshawn Lynch, I think about Richard Sherman immediately.
Great team. Championship Seahawks team.
I actually think I was confusing Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch now that we're Now that we're talking about it.
We've probably have maybe even talked about this on the show, but then the double triple turns out with Richard Sherman of how he was like graduated like with honors from Stanford and stuff. It is like actually nothing like how he presented himself in that one interview. But then the triple turns out of how like he's like was arrested a couple years ago or something.
He was just in legal trouble like in the last couple months.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Because that was on the news when we were in Washington.
Yeah.
Anyways, love a good triple turns out.
Complex. Richard Sherman. Complex man. Guys, what's going on? Tech news. People ask me what the show's about. I tell them tech news. I'm starting to think that may not be true. So I've got to convince them that's right. We've got a few stories in here. We got to at least pick one.
Having only read the first two stories, the Sugar Daddy one speaks to me. Oh, the heart rate monitors on the archery. I actually did watch that and saw it just last night.
Yeah, let's get distracted again. Have you guys watched any of the Olympics? Tokyo Olympics?
We watched
Literally
a lot of gymnastics. That's the only regular one I watch. My favorite part of the Olympics, and again, we've probably talked about this before. This is not our first Olympics, is the weird stuff. And this is a great year for weird stuff.
There's a lot of new weird stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, there's new weird stuff. It's not like, it's, basketball's. Which one's back this year? Baseball? No, golf. Golf is the one.
Golf is back.
Okay,
yeah.
Big whoop. But rock climbing with speed climbing. I didn't even know speed climbing was a thing. That's crazy. I'm really looking forward to that. Archery. We saw some dressage equestrian stuff where they like cross country dressage horseback riding. That was cool. Water polo.
BMX has been my big one. I watched a ton of the BMX like bike stunts.
We watched the skateboarding, the women's street skateboarding one, where like every person in contention for gold was under the age of 16. That was really weird.
So funny.
Yeah. BMX. I need to check that out. What was the?
It was. I will say the stunt because they did both like racing. Which it's not called that, but it's basically that, and then like a tricks competition. The tricks competition was wild. I highly recommend seeing some highlights.
Yeah,
because the stuff they were pulling on these bikes was really impressive. I was a big fan. Archery. I did watch a lot of archery. I watched some badminton. I was with you, Dan, because if you have the app, you can go in and see all the sports, and it's like I would immediately like basketball, skip.
Yep.
Even some of the more generic. Like I'm not a big track and field guy, like discus and hammer throw. It's like kind of skip that. Long jump was very cool. That's what I've loved is a lot of these they've added so much technology.
Yes.
With the different cameras and the different like electronic measurements and it's been really neat.
There was one thing that blew my mind was in the high dive, they had this camera that would somehow follow them from the top and then sink down into the water. And so you'd see like the whole dive kind of the person was still and the world was moving around them. And then suddenly like they're just like in the water. It's so cool.
Oh, I love that. During the during a lot of the events, but I loved it during the BMX. They have remember the Matrix, the bullet shot where the camera kind of spins around you at 360. For a lot of the events, they had that where like at the peak of the jump, it would like you'd see them in the 360 and see them at all the angles. Oh, it was cool.
Now,
and then they had the in badminton, they had if you've ever watched tennis, professional tennis, they have like the virtual system that the judges can go to that tells them whether the ball was in or out. Have you seen this? It's very cool. They have that for badminton, and I'm like, I didn't know that was necessary, but that was very cool.
Now, how are you watching the Olympics? I naively thought, the Peacock app, it must be great. It must be the way to do it. But it sucks. There's like they don't hardly have anything.
The whole reason they launched Peacock when they launched it last year was in time for what should have been the Tokyo Olympics. It was their launch platform. It's so bad. I have the NBC Sports app on my Roku.
I have that too.
And they have all of the events streaming individually, and that's what I've been watching.
Okay. I need to go back to that.
No, Peacock's awful. But the technology story here that I put in the rundown, and I noticed this when I was watching, watched a lot of archery, and they had a beats per minute heart rate in the bottom of the screen while the archers were shooting. You could actually see their heart rates in real time, and I assumed they had like an Apple Watch or something on that was tracking their heart rate. But that's not actually true. Panasonic developed a camera that tracks their face color in live video 12 meters from the shooting lines, and the variations correlate to pulse. So it's such a high quality, high frame rate camera that it can tell the slight difference between the color in your skin to indicate how fast your heart is beating.
That's crazy.
And the interesting thing about this is because originally they said they tried to use watches and bands and things like that, but it wasn't as accurate. And what's nice about the camera is it doesn't differentiate between skin tones in a way the technology watches sometimes do.
Now, did they say, I have a theory, but did they say why people care about the heart rate?
There is, I don't know if it was in this article or in another article I read, where they did a study and found that there wasn't a huge correlation between heart rate and performance in archery.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all it said. What's your theory?
Oh yeah, just that, from video games, they have you like hold your breath and like your heart rate is up, and you have a harder time aiming and stuff. That was my theory, but it sounds like maybe that's just a urban legend.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact numbers. There was a correlation, but it was like a 7% correlation. It wasn't like a huge number.
It is cool though. The other cool thing from the archery was, did you see the pinhole camera they had in the bullseye?
Yes.
Oh my god, so cool.
That's funny.
I love it. The archery, that was an exciting sport for me. So,
damn.
Fun stuff.
Well, you two have made me regret not watching the Olympics.
There's still time, buddy.
There's still time.
There's still time.
All the rock climbing stuff is yet to happen.
Whoa.
That's the other thing, is when you forget exactly how many events there are when you log on and are scrolling through and you're like, oh shit. Yeah. I forgot that wasn't a 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh yeah.
I did not know it was an Olympic event.
We watched canoe slalom. That was cool.
Oh, that was cool. There was kayaking on the other night, sailing, surfing. Did you see any of the surfing?
No.
For the first time? Very weird, because I don't understand. It's in a public ocean.
Right.
Like, the waves are not consistent person to person. So I don't quite understand how it's a fair sport, but I'm also a moron.
I've watched, I think I've watched a surfing competition on TV before, and I had the same question. Yeah, it's not like they're doing it in a wave pool.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Colby, there's everything from boxing to canoeing, handball, field hockey, table tennis,
weightlifting, always good.
Wrestling. I watched it. I don't know if you saw the clip of the U.S. Women's single badminton player. She was playing a great game against China, came down, broke her ankle.
Oh, I saw a photo of that, yeah.
I was watching it live, and you can literally, she goes down, and she literally says, I broke it. And you can hear her on mic saying, I broke it.
Ugh.
And it was devastating.
Damn.
So.
Crazy.
Check that out if you're watching. I think archery, there's a little bit of it left. I think just a couple of finals. But you'll see the heart rate on screen. So keep an eye out for all that cool technology. Dan, you want to talk about sugar dating?
Oh, yeah. I don't know anything about this. It just sounded really weird. Android store sugar dating? Oh, sugar dating.
What did you think it was?
I thought it said sugar daddy apps, and I assumed it was some sort of money laundering scheme. I guess my mind was still in Rice to Riches.
No, that is what it's about.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all about.
I thought it was like one of those like faux prostitution apps. No.
Well, it's all about compensated sexual relationships is the term that they are prohibiting. Sugar dating apps, it says here, according to The Verge, traditionally sugar dating relationships involve older, wealthier individuals dating and showering younger partners with gifts. There are a lot of apps around here Google Play Store already prohibits services that may be interpreted as providing sexual acts in exchange for compensation, but they've broadened the definition to include the concept of sugar dating. They don't say why they've decided to crack down now, but there are a lot of apps they will be shutting down starting September 1st.
Bummer.
Well, there was a news story I saw last night about a court case that is going through the system where former Miss Connecticut or something was using one of these apps, but her husband didn't know, and she had actually been using it since before they got married, and so there's some like legal divorce thing happening. So maybe that's why it is in the news a little bit.
Well, and there's the congressman there, Matt Gaetz.
Right.
Notorious horrible person, and guy who likes to have sex with underage women, who is doing similar things as well. So I guess my question for you guys is, how are you going to go on? What are you going to do when these are canceled? How are you guys going to find older women to shower you with gifts?
I don't know. Classified ads.
Notice how I made you the younger person in that and not the older person. You're welcome.
Well, thank you.
Certainly not wealthy, so.
Yeah, we'll take it. If any older women want to shower us with gifts, there's no, we're not promising anything in return.
Legally, you shouldn't.
Right.
Right.
But, 123 America Avenue. Stamford, Connecticut.
Stop on by. It's the brand new building they just grand opened.
This is somewhat related. We should definitely get a PO box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
PO box.
I'd like to.
Don't
Why?
Panic podcast. What if people are trying to shower us with gifts right now? But they
Colby,
can't.
I think in the 8 years we've done this, we've ever gotten one email.
Well, yeah, but what if our listeners are like?
Because
I'll give out my home address. I don't care.
No, just give me your mom's address.
Yeah, that'll work out really well. Apartment B. No, hey, look, if anyone wants to mail us something, send us an email first, and I will give you an address. How about
Request permission.
Yes. We don't just give it out to anybody. But make sure that they're fabulously expensive gifts is all we ask.
Right. Don't cheap out. We'll know.
Yes, exactly. We're counting the receipts. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but it is an interesting story nonetheless. Sugar dating no longer... I can't imagine iOS lets you do this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they would, but...
No, not at all.
I don't know. I don't think this will affect my life at all, one way or another.
I would be very concerned if that change seriously affected your life. So that's good to hear. That's comforting.
Yeah.
Guys, it's about that time in the show. We wasted so much time on the front side that we've got to wrap it up on the back side. It's time for picks. It's the part of the show where just brings something we want to share with the world. And we have got some picks here. And we're going to start with Mr. Colby.
Yes. So Dan was talking about the grocery carts at the beginning of the show, which reminded me of something I got recently, which is not a grocery cart, but is a collapsible cart of sorts. It's like this like collapsible hand truck thing, which is not useful super often, but the 3 times I've used it in the 3 months that I've had it, I was able to do a thing that I would not have been able to do without this collapsible hand truck thing.
What's an example?
One was I got a new mattress, which is also maybe something I should pick. But I got
write it down.
Yeah, right. Write it down right now. Pause. Stop the show. And it was one of, it was like one of those the male mattresses where it's collapsed, but it was I got one of the hybrid ones that has springs in it now.
It's a new kind of hybrid mattress.
Yeah, so it's like half foam and half springs.
Just the right thing, just the right bounce.
Yeah, just the right thing, just the right bounce. It's not from that company though. But it's super heavy. I would not have been able to like throw it over my shoulder. Like I would have been crushed under the weight of this mattress. But I was able to get it up to my apartment by myself with this trusty folding hand truck. So that's one thing. I carried a bunch of like dirt and like plants over to the garden with it once. I did something else with it too. But in any case, it's great, and it gets really small. It gets like, it folds down to be like maybe like 3 feet tall, and it's like 3 inches wide. So it like just fits into my closet. It's awesome. It can carry 150 pounds. 150 pounds. And
it's like one of me.
And it has 2 configurations. So it has one way that it opens that it's like a regular hand truck, like an L shape. But then it has another way where it has like 4 wheels. Like 4 wheels are out. And it's like a little like push cart. It's great. It's wild. For apartment life.
That's awesome.
It's really good. If I didn't live in an apartment, I would just have a regular hand truck. But
every home should have one, and that's not a joke.
Yeah.
Because I have a non-folding one that I absolutely love and use all the time. So
yeah, it's dope.
I'm gonna get one of these because our problem is now that we have a car, but we live in an apartment building. Getting the groceries from the car up to the apartment can sometimes be a task. So this is sold.
Look at that. One down. Love it. Let's see if Dan can get us excited for his pick. Dan, what do you have?
I have... Wait, what did I pick again? Let's see. I have... Oh, right. Last week, I think, I saw that Spider-Man Miles Morales game, which is kind of like a short version of the older PS4 Spider-Man game, came out. I never played the original, and I regret it now because it's one of those games that you can just play for 5 minutes and solve one crime and then turn it off, which is great. And it's also just a lot of fun. It's one of those games that as you play it, you get better at moving around. And that's really cool because you're swinging between the buildings and bouncing off the railings and climbing up the walls. It's super fun. That's it. That's my whole pitch. It's still on sale right now, I think, for $35 on the PlayStation Store. Story's pretty good. Combat's hard and fun, but it's mostly just, swing around Manhattan and punch people. It's great.
Cool. And you can pick it up bundled with the original if you haven't played it.
Oh, I did not know that.
Available for the PS4 and the PS5. Awesome. Colby, you've played this, right?
Not this one, the original one.
The original.
But it's great. I agree with all the things Dan said. You get a lot better at it as you play. Yeah, I was really bad at it at first.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Marvel's Spider-Man : Miles Morales. Very nice. All right, I will take us home. I was going to pick a bunch of other things, but this just came up, and I've just been enjoying it so much. It's right up my alley. It's an Instagram account called 80s News Screens. And basically, they just post screenshots from the news in the 1980s. And you say, Sean, that doesn't sound very entertaining, but they're just very weird and fun screenshots of, here's one that says, it's a picture of a woman. It says, Catherine Rubin, lactose victim. And so you have no idea what the context is, but they all look very 80s. It looks very VHS. My favorite thing, and actually I'm excited to see if this is going to work. I'm going to try and share my screen here with audio. All right, let's see.
Very exciting.
All right. Can you see my screen? Because it's just spinning for me.
It's just spinning
for me too.
It's spinning.
Okay, this worked in the test, so this is not encouraging because I could theoretically play some of these fun videos and you could hear them if it worked. So I'm going to try it one more time here.
Once more, send Sean your energy.
Yeah, send it all to... There you go. Can you see it?
No.
Okay. Well, that's really disappointing because some of these jingles are very fun. So anyway, I recommend go check it out. They have these what they call they're kind of like station ads where they advertise that station and the local news and stuff, and they're just so fantastic. So 80s news screens. They also have 90s news screens as well. You can follow. Great little Instagram account. I recommend you check out. Put a smile on my face. Okie doke, guys. There you go. Another one in the books. Done to death. Anything you guys else you'd like to say or promote or talk about or do? No. Well, you know, I got to talk about my friends over at Up for Debate.
Yeah.
I'm obligated to. Believe it or not, we just had a new episode published today that we taped yesterday. The schedule's all out of whack.
Time. Oh my gosh.
Matt's wife is out of town, and when the wife's out of town, the guys are on the pod. You know it. That doesn't make any sense. We're doing our Fast and Furious rewatch, as you guys know. Fast 5 is the movie we just talked about, one of the best in the franchise. The heist movie, getting the gang back together from the first 4 movies. It was a blast. Matt and I shout and yell our way through it, including the exciting action and the parts that don't make sense. And this coming week, we're going to be talking about Fast and Furious 6. So you're going to want to come back and join us for that over at upfordebate.tv or wherever you get podcasts. Look for Up for Debate. It's a lot of fun. They're fun movies. So we're having a good time. As Matt says, make cars go fast, which is kind of what they do. So good stuff there. This show, of course, is don'tpanic.io is our website. You can go there, get links to all the audio, the video, the pics, including this weekend Picstory, which is always a hoot. And of course, you can follow us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter or email us don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. If you want to send us a package, email us first. That would be appreciated. Don't show up at my house. Thank you.
Someday we'll get a P.O. box, and then you can just send it.
Maybe I'll do that. You know what I'll do is I'll sign us up for that Gold Belly subscription plan and have it sent to the P.O. box. How about that?
Bring the trash nachos to their true home, just rotting in a P.O. box somewhere.
Yes, exactly. Could you imagine? Man, P.O. boxes can't accept deliveries of food, right?
I don't think so.
They've got to turn those
that's
away.
A different thing. Packages are like a different service. Yeah. I looked into this.
Because if that's true, I would find someone with a P.O. box and just send them a bunch of all those food service, they have free offers, like a free box for signing up. I would send them so much food just to mess with them. Sit there and rot in the back. I'm a nasty man. Look, we got to end it here, guys. We're going to be back next week with more tech news, more good times, lots of fun discussion on another episode. But until then, I'm Sean. They're Dan and Colby. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time for another Don't Panic.